Okay guys, welcome to another video. This video, as the title suggests, unless I rejig the title, is something that your sales manager will never tell you, okay? But it is imperative that you understand. Let me adjust. The two things that I recall everybody struggling with, or being new salespeople, trying to get their head around, is one, knocking doors is very difficult, right? It doesn't matter whether you are just switching people over from one power supply to another one, no contract involved. It doesn't matter whether you are appointment gathering, okay? So you're just doing a little bit of investigative work to see whether it's worth sending someone around later to assess their roof space and to explain the system that's going to be right for them, okay? Or whether you're turning up there like I used to do and you close a sale there and then. It is all very difficult. The second piece is understand this, right? Every single sales presentation or conversation, 90% of the time, will start with your customer saying, not interested. Okay. And you mustn't be afraid of that. If you're making a sale and they haven't said not interested, no, mate, not interested. If they haven't started with that, fair chance you're not going to get that sale. Okay. Because as a newbie, you are going to be naive to all of these people who are just going to lead you down the garden path, sound interested. They're just going to let you talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. And they might even sign up. Yeah, mate, sounds great. And it's because these people are too scared to turn you away. Okay. Some people are too scared to say they're not interested. Okay. But you haven't learnt this yet. Okay. Now, as you go along in your sales career, you will probably pick up 1 in 10 where people seem quite cordial, quite open to what you have to say. You might even get 2 of these every week. And these are the 2 sales that any salesperson can get when he's new, right? Because you will meet these people occasionally. You just knock on the door and you say, hi, I'm here doing whatever it is. And they're open to having a conversation, right? But 90% of it will be people who, no, mate, not interested. Nah, sorry. And you will say something else, okay? You're fishing. You're trying to dig as to why aren't you interested? And you're going to do it in a very polite way. And this is how you will get sales, okay? So you'll ask something else after they have said, nah, not interested, mate. And so you'll be inquiring very, very politely, very calmly. And they will say something else along the lines of, oh, we haven't really got time, mate, or we've looked into it, it wasn't really for us. And then you will say something else, okay? Another little bit of inquiring like you're the detective. Okay, and they might say something that starts to make them appear warmer and a bit more comfortable to your presence on the door. And that's when I used to just roll into a presentation. And I would roll into the presentation by handing them something, hand them a leaflet with some information on that you can point at and get their eyes focused on. That's a little bit more evidential, that backs up what you are saying, okay? And you start rolling with your presentation, and this is where they just stop talking, because you are now the walking, talking advert that gets them all warm and fuzzy and excited and thinking, oh yeah, this does sound good. I'll be listening to this guy now for 5 or 10 minutes. Yeah, he's okay. Yeah, this sounds good. Yeah, all my misconceptions about this product have been blown away. Oh, blimey, this is bloody good. Yeah. This is how the sales process works. Okay. So remember these two things. It's bloody hard, and your sales conversations always have to start with a not interested. Okay. All right. Look, until maybe this is the most important tip. Okay. Because I'll tell you something, I will elaborate. A lot of salespeople, they start and they are just sort of hoping that they're going to meet people that are just sort of open and polite. And it's just all going to work out for them. It just doesn't work like that. In a cold setting, what you've got to appreciate is when you knock on their door, and they answer it, you are actually the furthest thing from their mind. Your product is the furthest thing from their mind. So you've got to warm them up a little bit, right? You've got to persevere. If you're just walking away every time they say, "No, mate, not interested," that's not a genuine, it's not an objection, and it is not a genuine not interested. What it is them saying, "Really, mate, you've caught me on the hop. I haven't really thought about this all that much. I've not thought about it. I haven't really been motivated, or I'm busy doing something else. You caught me. I'm a little bit distracted." That's what that not interested is. And every other phrase that they will say after your rebuttal to their first not interested, it will be similar to "not really thought about it, mate." That's all they're really saying. Okay. So you've just got to understand this and hang on in there and keep your rebuttals flowing. Remember, you're sort of like an investigator trying to warm them up to the idea. Have you had it before? Have you got friends? Have you seen the new one lately? Have you seen the new specs on the whatever it might be? Just keep them chatting. Say, "Well, I understand you're busy. You probably haven't put too much thought into this. Look, I get it. There's been a few improvements now, though. Let me show you this a second, if you don't mind. Would you mind me?" Sometimes I used to say things like, "Look, I completely understand. Don't mind me asking, though," or "Would you mind me asking?" So always lead in with a "Would you mind? I completely understand. Look, I get it." Use these terminologies to roll into your next rebuttal to their rebuttal. Okay. Okay. So this really is the biggest thing, I think, for new people. Understand it is hard, but every conversation every sale has to start with a not interested. It just has to, else they're not genuine. I've had people, when I was first getting into it, they would just stand and listen to me. I think, blimey. And you'd sign them up. The next day, they'd bloody well cancel. What the hell happened there? And then you realise they were just scared of saying no to me. Right? So the sooner you realise, it has to start with a not interested. Right? And this is the game. When you sign them up, that's the home run. Think of yourself as the baseball player, You step into the batter's box when you knock the door. Okay? They're first not interested, and you get over that. That's your first base. Okay? So you'll ask something else. They give you a rebuttal, you rebuttal that. That's second base. Third base, fourth base. You close, that's the home run. Just think of it in those terms. Okay. All right. Until the next video, there's plenty more. See you soon, baby.